Our story begins with our presence momentarily residing in the woods. Then we get a sharp change, showing us a man exiting an elevator while carrying 2 backpacks. He walks into a parking garage, where his girlfriend, Jen, stands near their car. The man is Alex, placing those backpacks into the trunk before both of them ride away. As they ride out of the city, Jen looks at a magazine that allows her to rate her boyfriend. Alex wants to know how he's doing. She thinks he will regret asking her, so she reads, does her boyfriend always get his way? Does he ever admit he is wrong? Jen answers yes for the first one, and gives a no to the second. To make himself look better, Alex asks his own question if her boyfriend knows how to light a fire with no matches. Yet Jen continues to bring him down by saying his skill doesn't matter. She laughs, telling him he has 0 points. Later, he loads a CD into the car player, which Jen would rather he did not. He starts singing along with the goofy song, annoying the poor lady. She soon joins him to engage in a mocking dance. The couple keeps riding along scenic routes until they arrive at a cabin. Entering it, they are greeted by a park ranger named Carl. Alex informs him they are reserved under his name. The reservation is for renting a canoe. Carl offers him a map, but Alex doesn't need one. He's not trying to show off, he just claims to know the park well. We learn they are headed into an area called Blackfoot Trail. He wants to show Jen around it. Carl, however, has disappointing news, saying that it's closed for this season. According to him, there were many idiots around who were disrespecting everything. It's a treasured site, he says. Alex reveals that going to the Blackfoot Trail is the point of them going on the trip. Though if they get caught there, Carl tells them they will have to pay a fine of $500 each. With that information, the couple takes their leave, along with a medical kit Carl gives them. The next scene has them near the river. Alex does not like that Jen is using their precious vacation time to be working on her phone. She tells him it's important, and he should give her a little more time. Once she stops, she takes a picture of both of them. Shortly after, the duo starts canoeing. We are told this is based on a true story. Another couple passes them, finishing their trip, while our protagonists are just starting theirs. They enjoy their time in the water, a splendid getaway from the city. The time then comes for Alex to carry the canoe onto land. He accidentally drops it on his foot, causing a painful injury. That's not the best way to begin a trip into the wilderness. Soon, he takes out a whistle from the medical kit to give it to Jen. He says it will scare anyone away. His girlfriend surprises him by showing that she brought bear spray. He thinks she won't need to use it, but she has to have it with her to feel safe. The man connects it to her pants. He also finds a road flare in her bag, which prompts him to advise her she should have got a pen flare instead. Road flares are for the road. After that, they load their huge backpacks onto their backs to begin their walk. As they do, Alex tells her they will be lucky to see anything bigger than a chipmunk. Eventually, the duo finds a good spot to set up their tent. There is even a sign on a tree recommending it. Alex uses his aforementioned skill to make a fire without using matches. The man wonders if that excites Jen. She playfully says it does. After they have some fun, jumping naked in the nearby water, Alex wants to collect some more wood before it gets dark. She wants to help him, yet he refuses her. The lady resorts to waiting for him until his return. We soon see someone standing slightly nearby. The man startles her upon offering his greeting. The scene instantly cuts to Alex cutting wood to make it feasible to carry. He starts walking back with it, and hears his girlfriend talking to someone. He comes closer to see the man there, chatting away with her. She introduces him as Brad. She tells Alex he grew up in the woods. He also has a lot of fish on him. Jen thought they could have a fish dinner tonight, along with Brad. All of this is quite sudden for Alex. He enters their tent, calling Jen to help him with something. When she comes in, he asks if she's comfortable with this. The lady says she's been talking to him for 10 minutes. She uses the word great to describe him. We think it's a little early for her to be using such a word for a stranger. Alex quickly calls Brad a liar, because he claimed to have grown up in the woods. From Brad's accent, Alex infers the man is from Ireland. Therefore, he couldn't have grown up in these woods. They talk about the situation for a few more seconds until Jen comes out. At that moment, Brad says he doesn't want to bother them. He probably guessed that Alex called her in because of him. However, the couple tells him to stay. They want that fish dinner. Alex unwisely adds that there was a misunderstanding. This relieves Brad, who slams his collection of fish down before taking out a huge knife to cut them up. At night, we see the fish being cooked in a pan. While they all socialize, we learn Jen is a lawyer and Alex is working on landscaping with his friend. This makes Brad ask if he's Mexican. He thinks that's the kind of job that only the Mexicans do. Jen tells him that Alex's landscaping is rather different, existing on a higher level. Soon, Brad asks if they have anything to cook on the side for the fish. A somewhat uncomfortable moment arises once the choice between veggies and potatoes is offered. Alex requests the former, while Brad chooses the latter. Jen says they could do both, but the stranger rejects that option. He says they should just have the potatoes alone. Who is this man to audaciously make such a decision? Then he confirms he's from Ireland. That makes Alex ask what kind of work he does here. He gives tours of the wilderness, the kind that allow for a deeper experience than what one might get in most places. Following this, Jen returns with the potatoes. Suddenly, Brad gets up to urinate in front of them. He has his back turned, though his behavior is still foul. Alex shows his disapproval of the man. Does Jen still think he's great? After they tell him they will relax in this part of the woods for a few days, Brad says that if he had a lady like Jen, he would take her to areas that aren't on the tourist trail. As they keep talking to him, the conversation with this man gradually grows uncomfortable, especially for Alex. After the man eats, he's finally about to take off. Unfortunately, their bad luck doesn't allow Brad to just leave, not without causing more unease. He comes forth to Alex, wanting to know what he meant when he said that there was a misunderstanding. He presses himself somewhat boldly in his questioning. Nervous, Alex asks if this is an important answer for him to receive. He wouldn't be asking it if it wasn't, Brad rudely says. At that point, Alex answers truthfully. He says he saw a random man talking to his girlfriend. It sparked a bad idea in his mind. Brad almost has the answer he wants. He just wants to know what was there to misunderstand. Alex snaps and suggests he thought Brad might have been a maniac. Seeming to accept that answer, Brad walks away. Jen apologizes for having invited him. She asks if they should worry about him. Alex doesn't think so, he just thinks Brad is weird. He brings up the topic again, asking why she invited him, because he's upset over it. Jen admits she didn't know what to do at the time. After that, the couple sleeps in their tent. In the morning, Alex prepares breakfast for them. Jen reminds him of the magazine that allowed her to rate him. She improves his score from 0 to 1. The man is moving up. He acts embarrassed because his score was at 0. They then continue with their walk through the wonderful woods. Supposedly, they're on the Blackfoot Trail now. Hopefully, they won't get caught, or else that $500 fee will put a hole in their pockets. Jen wonders why the trail is called Blackfoot. Alex educates her that the trail ends around a lake, which is surrounded by black earth. The tribespeople that hunted in that area followed animal tracks in the black earth. As they keep walking, Alex notices a paw mark on the ground. It makes him wear some sort of look on his face, but he decides not to bring attention to it. It might ruin the trip. He very much wants to stay intact. Later, he starts going off the trail. Jen looks worried about his decision. This could be the beginning of trouble. When night arrives, the couple sets up their tent again. Alex inspects the injury on his foot, and Jen tends to it. They are in the woods alone, off the trail, and Alex has acquired an injury. The situation looks manageable so far, although dealing with such factors could easily turn things around. They start sleeping in the tent, spending their second night in the woods. At some point, Jen hears snapping sounds. She wakes Alex up. The man brushes it off, saying it's just acorns falling on the tent. Soon something falls, which makes him think it's not an acorn. Jen thinks Brad might have come back to mess with them. It doesn't take long for the sounds to stop, prompting the duo to return to sleep. On the next day, Alex observes the broken twigs near them. It wasn't like this last night, Jen tells him. This happening makes her nervous. She even wants to go home. Alex tries calming her, along with saying he waited a long time for this trip. He assures her she will love it upon arriving at the lake. With that, the lady's upset face turns into a smile. Continuing to walk, Alex finds some berries on the ground. He tells Jen the leaves around it are wintergreen. The man demonstrates they are edible by chewing on a leaf. He tries giving one to her, yet she rejects it because an animal could have touched it. Then she mentions a certain smell. Alex says it's nothing, though she walks in its direction. The smell leads them to the carcass of an animal. Despite it being disturbing, the couple does not overreact to such a gruesome sight. They turn around to resume their walk. While they keep at it, Jen falls. Alex yells out that he's found the place that will take them to the lake. He cleans the dirt she got on her face from her fall. For some reason, she does not give him another positive point for that. Perhaps such a caring action should raise him to 2 points now. Once they climb the rock, the duo experiences a problem. It might be considered their biggest problem yet. Myriads of trees stand before them. There is no lake. We can only imagine the turmoil cooking in their minds. Alex is sure the lake should be there. He yells out angrily, questioning what's going on. Since he's done this many times, Jen expects him to know where they are. She begins searching for something in her backpack, but she cannot find it. Alex says he took her phone out. He left it in the car because he didn't want her on the device while they were supposed to enjoy their time in nature. Of course, that was an unwise move in such a time of need. He tries defending himself by saying they can't get reception there anyway. We learn that the last time he was certain of where they were was at the fork in the trail. We come to understand what kind of mistake he's made. We should also recall how he said nothing about the popcorn he found in the dirt. He wants his girlfriend to hold it together. But how can she during such a situation? They have neither a map nor a phone. A heated argument results from all this. She tells him the entire trip was a mistake. The couple is supposed to be going home tomorrow. She even calls him a loser. How does he retaliate to her hurtful remarks? By telling her he was going to propose to her. She doesn't have anything to say to that. Following this chaos, we get an overhead view of many trees to make us feel the magnitude of being lost in the wilderness. Jen sits there, crying. She tells Alex she's sorry. The duo sets up their tent, planning to leave tomorrow. While hanging a rope up at night, Alex hears some activity in a tree. We don't get to see what it is. In the morning, an animal wanders around the tent. It looks like it could be a bear. It presses its head to the tent, causing Jen to push it away in her unknowing sleepy state. The animal obeys her. When the couple is awake, Alex sits before some of their torn clothes. Jen fears what may have caused it. Alex thinks it could have been a raccoon because he saw one the previous night. Afterward, they continue making their way through the woods. It then becomes apparent they are lost. Alex believes they could still be led somewhere, because it's a national park. He's an optimistic man. Shortly after, Jen spots an indentation in the ground. Alex doesn't hold anything back. He bluntly tells her it's a bear bed. This is trouble piled over trouble. Welcome to the great outdoors. Jen reacts by wanting to cover a lot of distance before darkness falls. At night, the duo is still stranded in the woods, sitting beside another fire. The man tells her he's sorry for all this. She replies that she didn't mean those bad things she told him earlier. She was just mad, and she loves him. This makes him take out the ring box to show her how he was going to propose. However, she wants him to wait on showing it. Alex gives her their last remaining food, a protein bar. After that, he takes out a small bottle of champagne. Even during a problematic time like this, he still laughs, trying to find enjoyment in the mess. Jen takes the first drink with a toast to their relationship. Once he mentions their bad situation, she says it could be worse. At least they are together. Jen looks at him, meaning what she said. At that moment, they start kissing. As they do, the snapping sound takes place again. Worried, Jen asks if it's a bear. Alex yells out loudly to scare it off, whatever it is. He recommends they go back to the tent. The couple spends another night there. In the morning, Alex tells her a joke about phoning for some room service. This makes the lady smile. He assures her they will be okay. It's a new day, and their heads are fresh. The obstacles that dragged them down yesterday might not have the same weight today. Unfortunately, he unzips the tent only to see a black bear sitting about 30 feet away. We should remember how he assured his girlfriend they wouldn't see anything larger than a chipmunk. Unless the chipmunks he had in mind weigh about 600 pounds. He was certainly wrong about that. The man gestures for her to stay quiet. She becomes scared because she does not know why he's saying this. He looks back at the bear, asking himself what it's doing. The dangerous animal soon gets up to walk in the direction of the tent. Alex closes his eyes in fear, repeating several times how he wants it to move past them. Upon peeking out again, he witnesses the bear walking close by. It prompts him to frantically search for his axe. Jen has bad news for him, that it's in his bag outside. She takes out her bear spray, which she ended up needing after all. Angry now, the bear hits the tent. Then it places its head inside to terrorize the couple. This is fear like they have never known. The animal lacerates her hand, causing blood to spill out. Alex urges her to get behind him before yelling at the bear to leave. It bites down on his leg, and he screams in severe pain. We experience it as a soundless event to give us a feel for the trauma. At that point, Jen uses her spray, making the bear run off. We focus on Alex's injured leg. Jen tends to it, while he tells her he can't feel his foot. He starts losing his mind, saying he's going to meet his demise there. After that, the bear puts its head back in the tent to roar at them. It drags the injured man out. Jen holds his hand, yet it doesn't last. The bear takes him away for good. She is forced to watch how he gets brutalized by the lethal creature. Soon she starts running away. Something stops her, causing to turn around, so she can witness the grisly sight of her mutilated boyfriend. She takes the ring box, while the bear throws more terrifying roars at her. She runs in fear for an unknown amount of time. It causes her to tumble on several occasions. On one of them, she knocks her head on a rock, and we hear a ringing. It doesn't take long for the poor lady to lose consciousness. She wakes up at some point in fear, yelling for help. No one is there to answer her. She takes out the ring Alex planned to give her, crying after putting it on. Then the snapping sound of trees alerts her. It prompts her to keep moving with her injured arm. Later, Jen finds a tree which she hastily climbs. She lies high up on a branch. Of course, she did it to protect herself from the savage bear. The lady manages to fall asleep, waking up to the promising sound of a helicopter flying overhead. Jen yells out to it before starting to descend from the tree. By the time she gets to the ground, though, it's no longer there. Disheartening as it may be, it must not make her lose her fight to survive. She soon finds some water on the ground, which she has no choice except to drink. Who knows the last time she hydrated herself? Shortly after, she coughs it up. Jen also washes the blood off of her hands and gets a chance to look at her injury. Placing her arm in the water brings pain. She sits crying afterward. We wonder what aspect of this misadventure is most disastrous for her. Perhaps it could be Alex's untimely demise, or perhaps it could be her very real fear that she might soon join him. The next scene has our survivor finding some evergreen. She doesn't hesitate to eat it this time. Danger strikes upon her hearing the roar of the bear. It is behind her, moving slowly toward the lady. It forces her to run again. This time, we get to see it chase her. Eventually, she stops at a tree, seeing a small waterfall just beneath it. Had the tree not been there to stop her running, it looks like she could have fallen to her end. This is where she finally uses her whistle. The bear doesn't attack her, but it roars. Since it could change its mind at any moment, Jen starts climbing down the dangerous waterfall. She gets to the point where descending becomes exceedingly difficult, so she falls, breaking her lower leg in the process. Bringing her pants slightly up, it becomes revealed that there is a broken bone. Jen tends to her wound by tying 2 sticks to opposite sides of the leg with her socks. She then collects a long stick, maybe as a weapon, though surely to make walking easier. At night, Jen lights up her road flare. She walks along while holding it high. Supposedly, she's using it to light her way in the darkness. On the next day, she continues to limp her way through the woods. Due to the injured state of her body, coupled with walking for probably quite some time, our heroine's consciousness shuts off in a sitting position near a tree. We don't know how much time passes until she wakes up, Yet once she does, an elk is standing in front of her. Jen reaches out to it, only to have the animal walk away. The injured lady gets up to walk in its direction. The elk was like a gift sent to her, because following it, she makes it to the area where they left their canoe. Coming to it, all she needs now is the strength to move it into the water and the strength to row it alone. The tasks likely take their toll on her, but she manages to complete them. Jen makes it to the spot where her and Alex's car is parked. She falls to the ground, unable to move anymore. Thankfully, a group of people stand close by. One of them is none other than Brad, who rushes to her aid. He just might end up saving her life.